bit of warning here. I'm going to be using words like organize, planning, and forms in this episode, so no need to roll your eyes and think that I'm going to be checking in on your TPS reports. But we do need to think through some things before we get started. By creating some order and thinking through the details on the front end will help us out later on. We have PDF files on our website that you can download that go with this episode, so you can print them off and fill them out to customize your plan. But before we get started, it needs to be said that the tools and resources that we're going to highlight in this series are not a magic make you a runaway overnight success. You need to know that this takes time. Ask yourself this question: do you want a career in music, or do you want a quick flash in the pan moment? A career takes time, building a solid foundation to stand on and establishing a fan base. You're building relationships, credibility, and trust, all which take time. The first order of business is figuring out what you want to accomplish through your online outlets. What do you want to gain from social media, your website, and other online resources? What are your short and long-term goals? This is a way for you to measure your success. I can't list off what would be considered successful for you because our goals might be completely different. So take your time and figure out what you want to gain and accomplish through these sites. Secondly, who is your audience? Who do you want to connect with? Obviously, you want to connect with your fans, but do you want to network with other musicians, bands, or producers? By nailing down who you want to reach will help you figure out what you're going to blog about, what information will be on your website, what you'll post on Facebook, and so on. For example, if your audience is a more college-age crowd, what you would blog about for them would be different than if you were talking to a much older or a much younger audience. So figuring out who your audience is important. This might take some time to figure out, especially if you're at the beginning stages of your band, so be flexible. While social media is conversational, you'll still need to figure out what information your audience wants to hear from you. Have you ever had a conversation with someone where it takes them about 20 minutes to explain what their band sounds like? Don't get sucked into that scenario. By taking some time to think about what makes you unique and crafting a clear and concise description, you won't fall victim to becoming a drone. The same situation happens online when a potential fan is looking for new music. They want a quick snapshot of who you are, what you sound like, and why they should pay attention. The same goes when looking at music flyers being handed out for a show. Why should someone pay attention to the card that you're handing them? A short description of why you stand out from the rest of the pack is essential to drawing in new fans. On the PDF download, we have several questions listed for you to think through to help you craft your description or unique selling point. It's an easy exercise that will give your potential fans a snapshot into who you are and what you have to offer. So take your time and figure this out. As a band, come up with something that everyone can get behind and say at the drop of a hat when someone says, "So tell me about your band." As a solo artist, run it by some friends and get their input. This is a part of your branding, which needs to be consistent and plastered everywhere. So make sure it's good from the get-go. For example, the Mixus Media selling point is uniting social media, web design, and digital PR for the modern musician. It's short, sweet, and to the point. Another great example is a band called The Fundamental Elements. They had 100% Blue-Eyed Soul plastered everywhere they played, on their website, Facebook, and so on. Creating your unique selling point is the first step in establishing your brand. We'll talk more about that later on, but this is a key and very important step in establishing a strong online presence. This was a quick one, but the next episode that we're going to be doing is going to create your social media plan of attack. So we'll see you next time.